Wait Until Dark was a wonderful stage play created by Frederick Knott, who had an earlier success with Dial M for Murder, also made into a movie. Wait Until Dark was made into a film in 1967 with Audrey Hepburn, Alan Arkin, and Richard Crenna, among others. And it's about a woman who is blind being chased around and terrorized by three thugs who are trying to find what they believe is a heroin stuffed doll somehow ended up in her apartment. So I got to play the Richard Crenna part on stage like 45 years ago, and I was relatively new to acting, and I had great natural instincts, but I had no technique. I hadn't studied. Years later, I studied and developed a foundation so that a director would never yell at me again. But we had two union members who were fantastic doing the leads, and our director was a kind of mad tyrant. But in just a few weeks, he gave me 10 years of acting lessons. And we later became very, very great friends. In any event, I realized early in the rehearsal period that I walked funny. The way I walked, even though I was just in my 30s, was what I called my old Winnipeg Jewish man shuffle. My toes were splayed out to the east and the west. So what I did is I went and bought a pair of sneakers and lived in them for weeks and turned my toes in so that I walked sort of straight ahead. And my goal was to be silent because I was a burglar. And even though I was often in the room with her, the blind lady, I didn't want her to sort of know where I was. So when we did the show, the first act curtain came down, and Roxanne, who brilliantly played this role, and she kept her eyes open, but her way of looking blind was to look right past you. And this created the illusion, both for you and the audience, that she couldn't see a darn thing. In any event, the curtain went down. She spun around, and she seemed to be angry, and she said, "Oh, my God, what are you doing? You're terrifying me." And I said, "Oh, well, what's the matter? What have I done wrong?" Because she was a union member, and I was an amateur. And she said, No, it's fantastic. I just never know where you are. It's like you're floating above the stage." Pickle. Act as if. 90% of who we are is just habit. Yes, there's a core personality lurking there somewhere, but an awful lot of what we do is just habit, and habits can be changed, often for the better.